Tanzen was the court musician to the great King Haroud el Rashid. Tanzen's voice was mellifluous. He knew how to play every instrument. One day, the king was lauding him, extolling his abilities, saying what a great musician he was, how people loved his voice and his playing. But Tanzen said to the king, "Oh, no, sire, my teacher and my master far, far surpasses me." And with that, in the king was awakened a great desire. "Well," said Haroud el Rashid, "I'll send a messenger straight away to this teacher and have him brought to the palace so that he can sing and play for us." But Tanzen said, "Oh, sire, no. My teacher and my master does not respond to the wants or the demands of man, not even the demands of a king." So the king, somewhat chastened, said, "Well, then I'll go to him." And Tanzen said, "Well, we can try to find him." So in this state, the king dressed himself as a humble commoner, and he and Tanzen set out to find the great music teacher. And somehow, as is the way with such things, they found their way to the mountain where he lived and a cave in which he resided. Now, as they approached the mouth of the cave, the teacher inside knew that the king was in a state of receptivity, so to speak, and he began to sing. And as he sang, Haroud el Rashid and Tanzen were transported into a state that took them beyond their senses. But as they did so, they were somewhat entranced. So when the song was complete and they came back into the world of the senses, the teacher, the master, was nowhere to be seen. And Tanzen said, "We will not be able to find him. He is gone." So they went back to the palace. Now Haroud el Rashid, somewhat introspective, you might say. But after some while he said to Tanzen, "Tanzen, sing me the song that your master sang." And so Tanzen sang that song. And the king said, "Oh, Tanzen, it is not as your teacher and master sang." Tanzen replied, "Oh, sire, this is because I am in your employ. I answer your demands, but my teacher and my master only responds to God." Then there's the story of great Rabbi Nakman, who was in front of a great group of people giving a talk on the teachings of the Great Magid, the founder of Hassidic Judaism. But as he was speaking, he noticed an old man sitting somewhere in the front who was leaning forward, tense, a frown on perplexity on his face. So after the talk was finished, Rabbi Nakman invited the old man into his private chamber, and he asked him, "Did you understand what was being said?" And the old man, with tears in his eyes, he said, "No, I became an orphan at a very young age, so I had no schooling, and working hard when I became married and had a wife and children to take care of, there was no time or possibility of learning, and I have longed to be numbered amongst the learned of men." And with that, Rabbi Nakman began to sing a melody, and it seemed that within that melody was all the words of the dissertation that he had given. The old man sitting in front of him, suddenly the tears of sadness that had been rolling down his face turned to tears of great joy. A great smile came onto his lips, and after a while he jumped up, spontaneously saying, I understand. After this, Rabbi Nakman, after every talk that he gave, would sing this melody to enable those who did not understand to understand. What is the deep meaning of this for us? What is the melody behind your words? Over these last days, my shackles have been rising, because it seems that on the lips of those who have been making contact is a form of the words, I still have work to do, which implies I still have work to do on myself, which immediately creates a self. At the end of the month, we've arranged a workshop. This workshop is not to lift us into high consciousness or help us to get rid of our conditioning and our impediments. This workshop is to bring about an opportunity for everyone who decides to participate to stand up and be counted, to give expression to who and what they are. Renee and Rob, who have offered their property have offered to do so without any payment, as did Davini. But it also seems appropriate to ask for some donation of some kind to cover the expenses that are obviously involved in having a number of people in your house providing teas, coffees and so forth and so on. But it's been made very clear that this workshop is not to gather people in to lift them up. Okay, the preparation will be made with the beautiful contributions of Renee and Davini and each of us, if you might say, but providing the place, the timing, and the possibility of everyone who participates to stand up and give expression and put paid, absolutely put paid to the phrase that's on people's lips. I still have more work to do on myself. Myself? What self? This is what's being replied to those who have been sending emails and texts and even coming in person. Don't miss the opportunity. Don't miss the boat. Don't be forever a beggar or enslaved by, I need to do this, I need to work more on this or that or the other, get rid of this accretion or that vice or this other. No more time for that. Time is now. Thank you.